Microsoft, one of the most well-known companies in computer business. The company has served over millions of people in our everyday lives, each day improving the company to make it even better. It only took just a few people to start the company, and now people are working for the company worldwide. Who would have thought that a small company like Microsoft would become one of the most successful franchises in the world?
Gosh, I'm not sure you could actually identify a single contributor. I mean, I think one of the things that caused the success of Microsoft was really it was a team effort. I mean, everyone was contributing at very high levels.
And don't forget the man behind it all, Bill Gates, a man with an idea. The one who started it all is now one of the richest people in the world. Microsoft has become an important necessity in our everyday lives, and most likely in the future.
If it weren't for Bill, the company wouldn't be the company that it is. I mean, he was pretty maniacal about making sure, pushing the engineers to develop the best and to, get products done on time. He was a tough taskmaster.
It all started out with two young adults named Bill Gates and Paul Allen. Bill Gates was a college student in his sophomore year at Harvard, while Paul Allen was employed by Honeywell. They immediately started working on the first project of Microsoft, BASIC. BASIC was a computer simulator that could emulate today's computer. BASIC stands for Beginner's All-Purpose Symbolic Instruction Code. Paul and Bill worked on the project day and night until they finally completed it on January 2nd, 1975. Even though Bill and Paul never really did many tests on BASIC, it ran perfectly on the first try. Bill Gates and Paul Allen got their first customer for BASIC, MITS, Micro Instrumentation and Telemetry Systems, in Albuquerque, New Mexico. After Micro Instrumentation and Telemetry Systems buys BASIC from Paul Allen and Bill Gates, Paul joins MITS as Director of Software. Shortly after that, Bill joins with Paul's position and creates an official partnership called Microsoft, which stands for Microsoftware. As Microsoft became bigger, so was Apple, a competing company with Steve Jobs and Steve Wozniak. As Apple creates the personal iComputer on April 1st, 1976, Microsoft is still getting many purchases from different companies for the BASIC product.
Think about Windows-based machines. It dwarfs what we have, what Apple has with the Macintosh, and it dwarfs, the Linux-based.
And since Microsoft was becoming very successful, Paul Allen and Bill Gates resigned from MITS to join Microsoft full-time. 10 years later, while Microsoft is expanding greatly at a very fast pace, they expand their company with more rebuilding in Redmond surrounding Lake Bill. They hold their first meeting about the CD-ROM. Lake Bill is a lake dubbed Lake Bill because it is surrounded by many Microsoft buildings, and Bill Gates is the founder of Microsoft.
Well, I suppose I would probably have to say it was probably MS-DOS. That was the operating system that basically launched the whole personal computing industry.
In 1985, Microsoft released their first version of the now famous series of operating systems, Windows. Windows 1.0 included many now famous features, such as Control Panel, Notepad, and Paint. It was Microsoft's first attempt at making a multitasking interface.
Had it not been for this, 16-bit operating system that was totally character-based, none of the current stuff really would have happened.
By the end of 1986, it is announced that Microsoft has over 3,000 employees and has almost $200 million in revenues. This pattern of success kept at a steady pace over the years. Microsoft also kept making new, innovating products.
There was a product called Harvest. There was a product called Seed. There was a kind of a low-end series of products that today, don't exist.
Yeah.
You think of Multiplan. Well, Multiplan became Excel, and Microsoft Excel is a very successful product.
Such products included Windows 2.0, which was released in 1987, and Windows 3.0, released in 1990. Windows 2.0 introduced the new feature of stacked windows, while Windows 3.0 introduced personalized backgrounds. Microsoft had many more releases after 3.0. They innovated with introducing network programs for the workplace and kept adding features to their operating systems, such as the Start button and Windows Internet Explorer in Windows 95. In 2001, Microsoft released one of their best operating systems so far, Windows XP. Windows XP has been used in countless homes, countless school districts, and countless businesses. It was the most sleek-looking operating system of the Windows series so far.
Microsoft had then improved their operating systems by far with XP's new look and functions. The revenues for XP were great, with $75 billion made. It was a huge breakthrough for the company of Microsoft and the franchise of Windows. After the time of Windows XP was over, Microsoft came out with a new operating system called Windows Vista. It had the same basic components of Windows XP, but it had a totally different new look. Although after people started using Windows Vista, they began to think that it wasn't as good as XP, since it had some problems with operations and many numerous bugs.
This was considered a major flop for Microsoft.
Until they came out with the new improved operating system of Windows Vista in 2009, Windows 7. People disliked, complained, and made fun of Vista until 2009, when Windows 7, a huge improvement over Vista, was released. Windows 7 was an operating system exactly like Windows Vista, except that they took all of the bugs out of it that Windows Vista had, and gave it a fresh new look. Also, Vista was the first operating system that was user-based. In other words, user-based means that Microsoft Windows looked at what the user's ideas were for Windows 7 and used the good ideas for the operating system. It was a breakthrough for Microsoft Windows and a relief for the bad things about the company and Windows Vista. Microsoft has and always will innovate our world every day. It has been a great resource for our computers and makes our work a lot easier to manage and create. Their operating systems have been used throughout countless companies, businesses, and school districts, including our own.
The company, I think, continues to push the envelope of product innovation, and whenever you do that, you're taking risks. There's no guarantee that everything is going to be successful.
They have made it much easier for people to do almost anything. The company will make sure to help us and our computers now and in the future. Microsoft, innovating our world every day.